So this is the latest and greatest of our latest generation of coal planers and our newest generation of D3 skid steers and compact track loaders shown behind me. With this, we've just introduced and will be coming to market about Q3 will be what we're calling Smart Creep, another in the line of the smart technology offerings that we have. So what makes that magic happen? With the other products just like this, the handshake between the machine knowing when I plug it in what's there. Then it allows a unique set of operating parameters to allow you to either take control, operate in a different fashion, so on and so on. With Smart Creep, what it's doing is trying to remove the stress out of the operator and or get a new operator up to speed quicker. So what does that mean? When you're operating a coal planer, generally speaking, you would want to set your engine RPMs on high so you have full flow there. You would engage in your cut or your cut on a wheel saw or your cut in a coal planer. Then you're going to dial your creep speed down and you're going to dial it up to the maximum that you could hold. Then you generally would dial it back down. Then over the years, we have the gauge on the front of our machine that we call the Max Pro gauge. That went standard in our latest generation. As an operator, I'm constantly dialed in and I'm looking at that gauge. If I'm in the yellow, I'm not going enough. I'm not productive. If I'm in the green, I'm productive, but there's a little bit of band there. And if I go into the red, I'm pushing my machine too hard. I'm outrunning my capability and I'm not being as productive. I probably got to back up, do it again, so on. So doing that, you got two choices. You can turn your speed up one tick on your creeper, then you as the operator fighting that. You're constantly monitoring that, and the good operators doing that, that's why they're productive. But they're concentrating, they're locked in, and it's just a stressful operation you're doing. So you could also tune it down and just hold it, but you're potentially not as productive as you could be. With Smart Creep, the machine is monitoring what the head is doing via pressure sensor feedback. The algorithm in the machine kind of still looks at your top threshold, and then it does the finessing for you. So the aha, so take me for instance. So I'm an amateur operator at best, so I would likely have not run productive. I would have tuned it down. But now I can turn it up that extra notch or two and then let the machine think for me. I know generally what I'm doing, but it's going to help me get better faster. So you take yourself, if you're an expert operator and you've been doing this for 20 years, I know what I'm doing. I don't need that technology. I can remove the stress out of your shoulders and your hand and concentrating so hard where it's just one operation that you have to do. We feel it's going to help the workforce, come up to speed a lot quicker. We feel it's going to help that senior level expertise workforce be able to operate as well. Be happy to show you what the screens look like inside. You can't really see it from the outside, but once you're inside, you can see the handshake between the machines, what the monitors look like.
Okay, let's take a look.
Sure. Okay, so this would be your base display in the machine. Now, if you'll look, you can see a little shovel icon, and there's a button associated right below that shovel. So press that shovel button. Generally speaking, that is our smart integration technology. Where do you want to get into? In this one, since it already knows, and we've already set it up here at the show, it knows there's a cold planer. This is what the Smart Creep configuration would look like. Now, I can activate Creep. It's a little hard here to do on the show floor, but I could activate Creep, and that would be the real-time feedback of what the pressure monitor is. That's your dial. And then on the bottom right would be your engine RPM too. So you can still monitor that just the same. But more than anything, this is just monitored feedback. The machine itself is working real time to keep you right on the edge of that green or red threshold. Now, a really cool thing we didn't talk about outside, if you run into a jam situation, a situation where you have stalled the head, the machine, while holding forward, can back itself out and choose it can back itself out to free that stall. So as it's backing out, it backs out for that, half a second to a second. The stall is released. It then starts itself back up again and then re-engages to hit that finesse. And if you'll look down here, you can see as well, you can still manually have your gauge. This is still the gauge that you're looking in. This Max Pro gauge, we call it, went standard on the latest generation of our coal planers. So again, in my yellow, I'm operating, but I'm not as good as I could be. On my green, this is where I need to be. This is really where I need to be. Here I'm going too far. Smart Creep allows you to stay here without so much manual intervention to it. It's a really simple technology. It takes a little bit to explain, but it's pretty awesome. It's basically adaptive cruise control for your creeper. Should be available about Q3. Reach out to your Caterpillar dealer if you need any help.
Okay, so they're not on the market yet.
Not as of right now. They will be retrofittable as a kit. Very easy to get a hold of. All the machines will have the software available to them, and there'll be a kit to adapt the latest generation of coal planers and wheel saws to it. And we're looking forward to what other types of applications we could put this in. We we have to figure it out ourselves sometimes. We've got some ideas, but we need to test what makes sense.
Excellent. Sounds great. Thanks a lot, man.
Absolutely.